This episode starts with Javi. We get a zoom in on his face before the intro starts, and his internal monologue is in Spanish. We get a slow zoom out as he talks about needing a community to create New Eden, and that a single person would have died after a few days. We zoom out so we can see his complete body. His ears still ringing, but he's intact. In Snowpiercer's engine car, Alex returns to the helm. She's met with a little resistance from the soldiers. They seem to play along with her being in charge and give her control. Josie and Layton are attempting to formulate a plan to get out of the disconnected cars from last episode. You can tell Layton's already starting to get cold. He's shivering, but of course Josie and Leanna are fine due to their cold treatments. Layton is happy to find a radio nestled in the wall. He sends a distress alarm, but then the car powers down. Javi is helped into the infirmary at New Eden. They let us know right away that he's probably going to live. Big Alice heads into New Eden to dock, now that the track has been cleared. Javi's internal monologue, switching back to English, he ends with Snowpiercer, 876 cars long. Ruth, Till, and the Tailies are reunited with the rest of the colonists at New Eden. Dr. Pelton checks on Javi, and he just has a concussion. Ruth is already giving orders and delegating what everybody should be doing. Till and Audrey finally reunite, and we finally get to see that half of Audrey's face is completely scarred. Alex is at the helm of Snowpiercer. Nima arrives and lies to her about what Melanie has been doing. Nima offers Alex the head position on the retrofit of Big Alice. This shows that he is going after the other train. It wasn't clear at the end of the last episode. We can kind of see here that Nima is getting more deranged. Back in the disconnected cars, Layton, Josie, and Leanna huddle together for warmth. We don't know how much more time Layton has. He tells them that they should leave him and escape while they can. Just then, they hear a bang in the next car. Josie enters the car and confronts a man wearing a military cold suit. She's going to attack him, but then he removes his helmet, and it's actually Roche. So we were wondering where Roche has been, if he was dead or not, and now he's got a military cold suit somehow. He heard Layton's distress call, and he's here to help. He even brought a snowcat. Okay, the next part is pure plot armor. So they take Layton from the car to the snowcat without a cold suit, and it's like 10 or 15 feet away, and then they throw him in the back, like the bed of a truck, and then close it up and then get in, and he's okay. In the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, Ben froze to death because he opened a door and flipped a lever. So I don't really get it. Like, he could have opened the door, flipped the lever, and then ran back 40 feet and been in the warmer part of the car, but who knows? We're getting near the end of the series now, so I think we're going to have a little bit of inconsistencies. When they finally get Layton into the snowcat and they're moving, he doesn't have a pulse, but eventually Josie's able to revive him. Sykes questions Ruth and Till about the soldiers' intentions. Oz even suggests reconnecting all the cars together and running on the rail track. Ruth said she's tired of running, so Javi reconnects Big Alice to New Eden, and light finally shines upon it again. Back in the snowcat, Roche offers to tell us how he finally escaped and got the military suit, but Layton comes to and cuts him off. Till brings Audrey some food. She offers to make arrangements for them to be staying together, and Audrey kind of shuts her down. She feels really bad because she's all scarred up and she can't sing anymore from the gas. So she wants Till to move on. Till's kind of shocked by this, so she doesn't even put up a fight and just leaves. Sykes and Javi are preparing for the attack. They're comparing strategies, and Sykes makes fun of Javi, saying that his strategy is like the Alamo, like 300, but with Americans and I think Mexican people. Their talk's interrupted by Roche's return. Now, this is the next day, and so I think a whole calendar day has gone by, let's say 24 hours, and they've been on the road 24 hours. So this got me interested, and I was wondering how far New Eden is from the Bravo base. So I went on Google and I looked at some maps, and I did some comparisons with the maps I could find in the show and like the real map, like a Google map. So when the Bravo team says they're near Djibouti, so I just used Djibouti on the map for maybe they're within 50 kilometers or something of Djibouti. And then using this image, I roughed in where I think New Eden is. So from my guesses, it's about 1,000 kilometers by road. So let's say the Snowcat is only 900 kilometers. So if it took them 24 hours to do 900 kilometers, nobody can physically do that math, so I'll put it on the screen. So I think that it's not, if it's not accurate, it's like, maybe they were doing, I can't see them doing 100 kilometers an hour in that Snowcat, but at least it's not bad. At least it wasn't like they got them that morning and then they were back the same morning. We've gone a whole day. This whole aside, I think it's about 900 kilometers. Roche reunites with his daughter, and Josie reunites with Miles. Things seem tense between Ruth and Leighton, but I think they get over it, and Leighton warns Ruth of Nima. Nima enters the engineer's quarters of the engine car on Snowpiercer. He's happy to find Alex, who has come up with a plan to save 50% of the working time when they do the retrofit to Big Alice. She asks Nima a question again about Melanie, and he lies. This time, his lie is different, so Alex calls out his inconsistency. In New Eden, Roche gets a beer. We get a rare moment of happiness where Roche and Oz are reuniting and having a happy time. We don't get to see a lot of moments like this where people are celebrating or even living normal lives. It's normally a lot of like, we're freezing to death and there's no food. For the second time in the episode, Roche is about to tell the people he's with and us how he managed to get the military cold suit, but he's interrupted by Ruth, who calls the council leaders for a meeting. Ruth calls for an all hands on deck, and Oz warns of the explosives. Together they plan an ambush and plan to move Big Alice behind the track switch so that if the soldiers set off the explosives, they'll risk cutting off Big Alice from the main track. It's implied Ruth fills everybody in on the fact that Nima froze the world with CW7. After they move Big Alice, Josie is left guarding the computer, which allows them to operate the track switch. The big Russian guy, Boshkovich, from the earlier seasons, enters the tent or building where the computer is. He offers up his services of protection to Josie, and they lament on destroying the track switch. They also discuss both being victims of the Headwoods experimentations, and until this moment I kind of forgot that he was outside and got all hurt, and they brought him back as kind of a bad guy for a little bit, but then he turns good again. He's good, he's bad, he's good. That's Bochkovich's life. We get to see Ruth and the group making some more battle plans. Nima hears of New Eden's changing tactics, and the soldiers want to use Alex against them. Nima seems to be somewhat protective over Alex, and at first does not want her to be involved. When Alex sees that they plan on using force to take Big Alice, she volunteers so they can sneak in and steal it. She thinks this will be a way to minimize casualties. Till is forging new weapons with her skills learned on the Snowpiercer work camp train. Leighton attempts to comfort her, but you can tell she's very anxious. Javi looks at his hula girl, and Sykes comforts him as he mourns Ben. He wants to manually defuse the bombs, but Sykes talks him out of it. Then he comes up with the idea of possibly building a jammer. Till and Audrey go for a walk around New Eden, and they talk about the new future that they could build together. They have a loving embrace. Till tries to give Audrey hope. Leighton attempts to talk to Josie before the town hall meeting. She can tell that he's mentally messed up, and she tries to warn him that the fighting that's coming up will be brutal. At the meeting, Roche reflects on the mood and suggests Ruth make a rousing speech. Instead, she makes an announcement that Roche would like to tell the story about how he escaped. He tells a tale. He talks about how while he was searching the mountainside with Oz, he took a tumble and fell in a way that he couldn't signal Oz and couldn't scream for help. He says the soldiers found him and took him back to the silo. There, in the commotion of the last episode, he found a way to escape. He tells a pretty cool story about how he was met in a stairwell by 5 guards and he took them all on. Everybody's laughing and having a good time. You can tell that his story's improving everybody's mood. Finally, the story gets wackier and wackier till it ends with him saying he saw Bigfoot staring back at him through the cold. Roche succeeds in raising morale. On Snowpiercer, the soldiers gear up to take New Eden. Alex is with them, and again, she's just trying to minimize casualties if she can. Nima is seen to only care about the mission. You can tell that he's focused. This one-track mind of his might be what led him to freeze the world in the first place. Roche has a heart-to-heart with his daughter in the cafe in Town Hall. Leighton arrives. He praises him for his parenting style, and he asks Roche to take care of Liana if he and Josie die in the upcoming battle. We see Alex and the soldiers sneak into New Eden. At Town Hall, Ruth offers one final toast, and everybody says who they're sad for losing and what they're doing it for. Alex convinced the guards to let her go by herself to initiate the track switch and take Big Alice. When she goes to enter the building, she runs into Josie, and she says she's worked the plan out, and this is the only way to save people. Josie questions and confirms that they have Melanie, and that's why Alex might be doing something. Just then, the attack starts on the town. A sniper starts taking pot shots at everybody, and Bozkovich is shot in the leg. Alex is taken to the track switch at gunpoint, and that's where the episode wraps up. Okay, so this week on Speculation Sector, we're talking about what we think is going to come up next. So before we get into that, I am very surprised that the thumping we heard at the beginning of the episode was not a still alive Wilford. I think he might be gone, folks. I'm a little worried about that. You let me know in the comments if you think he's actually dead, because I think he might actually be dead. I thought we were going to lose Leighton this episode too. Thought they were just going to start killing everybody. So I think next episode we're going to focus on the battle. I am worried that we're going to have where the battles ended in 2 seconds to save money, because they did that when they were going to take Snowpiercer at the beginning of season 3. They did it all sneakily and with no fighting, so they didn't have to shoot all those scenes. I also think that we might see Nima deploying the Gemini gas, and we can see if that leads to the world becoming toxic for everybody. You guys let me know down below in the comments if you think that's what's going to happen, or maybe you could tell me what you think is going to happen. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I look forward to bringing you the next episode.